No one must know, the maid warned. What the mountain man did next shocked everyone. The mountain lodge was far from any town. It sat high on a rocky hill, surrounded by tall pine trees and deep silence. In the winter, snow covered the roof like a thick white blanket. In the summer, the wind moved through the trees and brought the smell of fresh grass. The mountain man lived there alone. He had lived alone for many years, and he liked it that way. He enjoyed the quiet, the fresh air, and the sound of birds in the morning. He was a strong man, but he was not cruel. He knew how to live in the wild. He could build a fire with just 2 sticks. He could climb steep rocks without fear. He could find food and water in places where other people would get lost. People in the valley called him strange, but they also respected him. They knew he was a good person, even if he did not speak much. One day, a woman arrived at the lodge. She did not come by horse or wagon. She walked. She walked a long way through the forest and over the hills. Her clothes were simple, and her hands were rough from hard work. She looked tired, but she did not look weak. Her eyes were sharp, and she seemed to notice everything around her. The mountain man saw her from his window. He had never seen her before. He watched her walk closer, and he felt a strange feeling in his chest. He did not know why, but he felt that she was important, not in a powerful way, but in a quiet way. She looked like someone who had lived a hard life and had learned to survive. When she reached the lodge, she stopped. She looked at the mountain man, and then she looked down at the ground. She did not speak right away. The mountain man opened the door slowly and stood there. His face was calm. He did not show fear or surprise. He only waited. The woman finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but it had strength in it. "Please," she said, "I need a place to stay." The mountain man looked at her for a moment. He could see that she was afraid. She was not afraid of him. She was afraid of something else. He could feel it in her body, in the way her hands trembled slightly, and in the way she kept looking behind her. He nodded. "You can stay," he said. The woman's eyes filled with tears, but she did not cry. She only nodded back, like she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. She walked inside the lodge and looked around. The place was small but clean. There was a simple bed, a wooden table, a few chairs, and a fireplace. It was not fancy, but it was warm and safe. The mountain man did not ask her name. He did not ask where she came from. He did not ask why she was here. He believed that a person who needed help did not always need questions. Sometimes they only needed kindness. The woman stayed for a few days without speaking much. She helped with chores. She cooked meals, cleaned the floor, and carried water. She worked quietly, like she had been doing it all her life. The mountain man watched her closely, but he did not interrupt her. He wanted her to feel comfortable. He wanted her to know that she was safe. One night, the mountain man sat near the fire and watched the flames. The woman sat across from him, holding a cup of hot tea. She stared into the fire, but her eyes looked far away, like she was thinking about something that happened long ago. The mountain man could see the fear inside her, but he also saw something else. He saw a strong spirit. He saw a person who had survived many hard moments. After a while, the woman finally spoke. Her voice was barely louder than a whisper. "You are kind," she said. The mountain man did not answer right away. He only looked at her. He wanted to make sure she was okay. "You can stay," he said again. "You are safe here." The woman nodded, but her face stayed tense. "No, one must know," she said suddenly. Her voice was sharp now, and her eyes looked worried. "No, one must know I am here." The mountain man felt a chill. It was not because of the cold outside. It was because of the fear in her voice. He could feel that she had a secret. He could feel that her secret was heavy. It was not the kind of secret that makes people laugh or gossip. It was the kind of secret that can destroy a life. He did not ask her to explain. He knew she would not. She looked like a person who had been forced to keep her feelings locked inside for a long time. He also knew that pushing her would only make her afraid. Instead, he nodded slowly. "I understand," he said. The woman breathed out slowly, as if she had been holding her breath for years. She looked at the mountain man, and for the first time she looked like a real person, not just a tired traveler. "Thank you," she said. The days passed, and the mountain man noticed small things. He noticed how the woman jumped when a bird flew too close to the window. He noticed how she kept looking outside the door as if she expected someone to appear. He noticed how she always listened carefully when she heard a sound in the forest. It was like she was waiting for danger. He also noticed how she avoided the mirror. She never looked at her own face. She would walk past it quickly, as if she did not want to see herself. It made him wonder what she had been through. The mountain man wanted to help, but he did not know how. He could not force her to tell him the truth. He could not promise that the past would disappear, but he could offer her a new life, even if it was small. He could offer her safety. He could offer her a chance to heal. One morning, the woman woke up early and went outside. She walked into the forest, far from the lodge. The mountain man followed her quietly, keeping his distance. He did not want to scare her. He only wanted to see what she was doing. She stopped at a small stream and sat down. She took off her boots and dipped her feet in the cold water. She looked up at the sky and closed her eyes. It was a peaceful moment. The mountain man watched her and felt something in his chest. He felt a deep sadness, but also hope. After a few minutes, the woman opened her eyes. She looked at the mountain man and said, "I did not come here by accident." The mountain man stayed silent. "I was running," she continued. "I was running for a long time. I have no family. I have no home. I only have this fear." The mountain man nodded. He understood. He had seen fear before, but this was different. This was the fear of being hunted, the fear of being followed, the fear of being found. The woman looked at him again. Her eyes were wet, but she did not cry. "Please," she said softly, "promise me something." The mountain man waited. She took a deep breath. "Promise me that you will not tell anyone," she said. "Promise me that you will keep my secret." The mountain man felt the weight of her request. He could feel how important it was to her. He could feel how dangerous it could be if someone knew. He looked at her carefully. He saw the honesty in her eyes. He saw the truth in her words. He knew she was not lying. "I promise," he said. The woman's face relaxed slightly. She looked relieved, but she also looked tired. It was like she had been carrying a heavy stone for years, and now she had finally put it down. They walked back to the lodge together. The mountain man felt a strange feeling. He did not know why, but he felt connected to her. He felt like he had met someone who needed him, and he wanted to help. That night, the wind howled outside. The snow fell softly on the roof. The mountain man sat near the fire, and the woman sat across from him, sewing a small piece of cloth. The lodge was quiet, but the silence was different now. It felt safe. The mountain man stared at the fire and thought about the promise he had made. He knew that keeping a secret was not easy. He also knew that the world outside was not kind to people who had no one to protect them. He did not know what would happen next. He did not know if the woman's past would catch up to her. He did not know if he would be able to protect her. But he knew one thing for sure. He would not turn his back on her. The mountain man had lived alone for a long time. He had built a life based on silence and distance. But now, something had changed. A new presence was in his home. A new person was in his life. And even though he did not fully understand her story, he knew he would not let her face her fears alone. And in the dark, far away from the lodge, someone was watching. The mountain man did not know it yet, but the woman's past was closer than he thought. The days after the promise felt different. The mountain man and the woman continued their quiet routine, but the air around them had changed. The lodge no longer felt empty. It felt like a home. The woman began to smile sometimes, even if her smile was small. She started to speak more, but she still avoided certain topics. She spoke about the forest, the animals, and the simple things she saw each day. The mountain man listened quietly. He did not ask too many questions. He let her speak when she wanted to speak. At first, the mountain man believed that her fear was only in her mind. He thought it was a result of her past, and that time would heal her. But he soon realized that her fear was real. He noticed the way she looked toward the road whenever a sound appeared. He noticed how she flinched at the sound of hooves or a wagon wheel. He noticed how she became tense when a bird landed on the roof. One afternoon, the mountain man was working outside. He was cutting wood for the fire. The woman was inside, cleaning the kitchen. The lodge was quiet. The birds were singing. The sun was warm. Everything seemed peaceful. Suddenly, the woman stopped her work. She stood very still, and her eyes widened. She listened. Her face changed. She looked scared. The mountain man heard nothing at first, but then he heard it too, a sound from the distance. It was the sound of a horse. The mountain man stopped cutting wood and looked up. The sound grew louder. It was not a friendly sound. It was a heavy sound, like someone was riding fast and without care. The mountain man felt his heart beat faster. He knew that the sound meant someone was coming. The woman rushed to the door. She looked outside. Her hands shook. She saw a rider approaching the lodge. The rider was a man, and he was riding fast. The mountain man could not see his face clearly, but he could feel that the rider was not a visitor. The rider was looking for something. The rider was searching. The mountain man stepped outside and stood near the door. He did not show fear. He wanted to appear calm. He wanted to protect the woman. The rider slowed down as he reached the lodge. He looked around. His eyes scanned the area. He looked at the lodge and then at the mountain man. He did not speak right away. The mountain man waited. He watched the rider's face. The rider looked serious. He looked like a man who was used to getting what he wanted. The mountain man knew that this man was not there for a friendly talk. Finally, the rider spoke. "I'm looking for a woman," he said. "A woman who has been missing." The mountain man's heart felt heavy. He did not know what to say. He did not want to lie, but he also did not want to reveal the woman's location. He looked at the rider carefully. "I have not seen any woman," he said. The rider's eyes narrowed. He looked at the woman inside the lodge. The woman stood behind the mountain man, trying to stay hidden. She held her breath. The rider's gaze moved toward her, and the woman felt a cold fear. She tried to stay still. The rider stepped closer. He looked at the mountain man again. "I heard a woman was seen near here," he said. "I need to know if she has been here." The mountain man spoke calmly. "No woman has been here," he said again. The rider looked at him for a long time, he seemed to think. Then he asked, "Do you have a guest?" The mountain man paused. He did not want to lie, but he also did not want to risk the woman's safety. He looked at the rider and said, "No." The rider's face changed. He looked angry now. He spoke harshly. "Don't lie to me," he said. "I know a woman is here. I know someone is hiding her. If you don't tell me, you will regret it." The mountain man felt his blood boil. He did not like threats. He did not like being told what to do. He looked at the rider and said, "I will not tell you anything." The rider's eyes widened. He did not expect the mountain man to speak like that. The rider laughed, but it was not a friendly laugh. It was a mean laugh. "You are a brave man," he said, "but you are alone. You cannot protect her." The mountain man stood firm. He knew he was not alone. He had the truth with him. He had the promise he made to the woman. He had his own heart. He had his own courage. And he had the mountains. The rider moved closer. He pulled a piece of paper from his pocket. He held it up and showed it to the mountain man. "This is a description of the woman," he said. "She is wanted. She is missing. She must be found." The mountain man looked at the paper. He did not want to read it, but he did. The description matched the woman. The mountain man's face turned serious. He knew that the rider had been sent by someone who was looking for her. The rider continued. "If you help her, you will be punished," he said. "You will be blamed for helping her escape. You will be responsible." The mountain man's mind raced. He knew the rider was trying to scare him. He knew the rider wanted to force him to reveal the woman. He also knew that the woman's life was more important than his own safety. He could not let her be taken away. He looked at the rider and spoke slowly. "If she is here, she is safe," he said. "I will not let anyone harm her." The rider looked shocked. He did not expect the mountain man to speak so firmly. The rider looked at the woman again, and his face changed. He seemed to realize that he might not be able to win this easily. The woman was still hiding behind the mountain man. She felt the rider's eyes on her. She wanted to run, but she knew she could not. She felt trapped. Her heart was beating fast. She felt the fear rise again. The rider spoke again. "If you do not tell me, I will come back with more men," he said. "And then you will have no choice." He could feel the tension in the air. He knew the rider was serious. The rider was not alone. He had people behind him. He could bring more help. The mountain man knew he could not fight a group of men. But he also knew something else. He knew that if the rider returned with more men, the woman would be in greater danger. He knew that the rider might harm her. He knew that the rider would not stop until he found her. The mountain man made a decision. He looked at the rider and said, "I will not tell you where she is, but I will offer you this. You can stay here for a night. You can rest. You can drink water. You can eat. But tomorrow, you must leave." The rider stared at him. He did not understand why the mountain man was offering hospitality. He was confused. He thought the mountain man would be afraid. He thought the mountain man would give in. The rider finally spoke. "Why would you help me?" he asked. The mountain man replied, "Because I am not a cruel man, and because I do not want blood to be shed." The rider frowned. He did not like this answer. He did not like that the mountain man was calm. He did not like that the mountain man did not fear him. He did not like that the mountain man was strong in a quiet way. The rider decided to stay. He tied his horse outside and entered the lodge. The woman watched him from behind the mountain man. She felt like she was in danger again. She felt like she had been forced into a trap. The rider sat near the fire. He looked around the lodge. He watched the mountain man. He watched the woman. He was careful. He did not trust the mountain man. He did not trust the woman. He felt like he was being tricked. The mountain man did not speak much. He served food and water. He did not show anger or fear. He only acted as if everything was normal. He wanted the rider to feel calm because he knew that calmness was safer than panic. The woman sat quietly, watching the rider. She could feel her heart beating fast. She did not know what would happen. She did not know if the rider would find out her secret. She did not know if she would be taken away. That night, the woman could not sleep. She listened to the sound of the rider breathing. She listened to the sound of the fire. She listened to the wind outside. She thought about the promise the mountain man made. She thought about the danger that was close. She realized something. She realized that the mountain man was not only kind, he was brave. He was not afraid of the world. He was not afraid of the rider. He was willing to risk his safety to protect her. The woman felt a new feeling inside her. It was not just fear, it was hope. She had never felt hope in a long time. She had only felt fear. Now she felt something else. The next morning, the rider woke up early. He looked outside. He saw the forest. He saw the mountains. He saw the silence. He felt like the mountain man was hiding something. He felt like the mountain man was not telling the truth. The rider stood up and spoke to the mountain man. "I will leave now," he said. "But if I find out that you are hiding her, I will return." The mountain man nodded. "I understand," he said. The rider mounted his horse and rode away. The woman watched him go. He felt a sense of relief, but she also felt fear. She knew the rider could return. She knew the danger was not gone. The mountain man walked to the window and watched the rider disappear into the forest. He knew that the rider would be back. He knew that the woman's past was not finished. He knew that the quiet life he had once lived was changing. The mountain man turned back inside. He looked at the woman. She looked tired. She looked afraid. He walked to her and placed a hand on her shoulder. He did not say anything. He did not need to. The woman looked at him and whispered, "Thank you." The mountain man nodded. He knew the danger was not over. But he also knew that he would not let the woman face it alone. He had made a promise, and now he would keep it, no matter what it cost him. The mountain man could not forget the rider's warning. He kept thinking about it, even when he was chopping wood or repairing the roof. The rider's words echoed in his mind. "If I find out you are hiding her, I will return." The mountain man did not know what would happen next. He did not know if the rider was telling the truth, or if he was just trying to scare him. The woman also could not forget the rider. She stayed close to the lodge and avoided the forest. She was afraid that someone would find her. She was afraid that someone would take her away. She felt trapped in the lodge, like a bird inside a cage. Even though the mountain man had promised to protect her, she still felt scared. The days passed slowly. The mountain man tried to make life feel normal. He taught the woman how to plant small vegetables near the lodge. He showed her how to make a small garden. He taught her how to gather berries and mushrooms safely. He also taught her how to build a strong fence around the lodge. He wanted her to feel safe and strong. The woman listened carefully. She was grateful. She was also surprised. She had never met someone who cared for her without asking for something in return. She had never met someone who did not judge her for her past. The mountain man did not ask her to explain. He did not ask her to prove herself. He only offered her kindness. One day, the mountain man went into the valley to buy supplies. He had to travel to the nearest town, which was far away. He knew that the journey could be dangerous. He knew that he could meet people who might ask questions. He knew that he could meet the rider again. But he also knew that he needed food, tools, and medicine for the lodge. Before he left, he spoke to the woman. "I will go to town," he said. "I will be gone for a few days." The woman looked worried. "Will you be safe?" she asked. The mountain man smiled slightly. "I will be careful," he said. "Do not worry." The woman nodded, but her eyes showed fear. She knew that the mountain man was brave, but she also knew that he was alone. She knew that if anything happened to him, she would be completely alone. She wanted to ask him to stay, but she did not. She did not want to seem weak. The mountain man left early in the morning. He rode his horse down the mountain path. The woman watched him disappear into the distance. She felt a strong feeling in her chest. It was a mix of fear and sadness. She did not want him to leave. After the mountain man left, the lodge felt empty. The woman walked around the rooms. She looked at the things he had made. She looked at the tools he used. She realized how much he had done for her. She felt grateful. She also felt guilty. She wondered if she had caused trouble for him. She wondered if she had ruined his peaceful life. She tried to keep busy. She worked in the garden. She cleaned the lodge. She cooked. She tried to make the time pass quickly, but the fear stayed inside her. She could not stop thinking about the rider. She could not stop thinking about what would happen if the rider returned. On the second day after the mountain man left, the woman heard a sound outside. It was not a horse this time. It was a loud noise, like someone was walking quickly through the trees. She went to the window and looked out. She saw a group of people coming toward the lodge. Her heart started to beat fast. She felt a cold sweat. She knew that these people were not visitors. She knew that these people were looking for her. She knew that the rider had returned with more men. The woman ran to the door and tried to lock it, but she realized the lock was old and weak. She looked around for something to block the door. She grabbed a chair and pushed it against the door. She grabbed a heavy pot and placed it near the window. She tried to do everything she could to protect herself. She listened carefully. She could hear the people outside. They were talking. Their voices were loud. They were laughing. It made her feel even more scared. She knew that they were not kind. The woman tried to stay calm. She breathed slowly. She tried to think. She remembered the mountain man's promise. She remembered his calm face. She remembered the way he said, "I will protect you." She felt a small spark of hope. She believed that he would return. She believed that he would save her. But she also knew that she could not wait alone. She needed to do something. She decided to hide. She looked around the lodge and found a small space behind the fireplace. The space was narrow and dark. It was not comfortable, but it was hidden. She climbed inside and tried to make herself as small as possible. She held her breath. She listened. The people outside entered the lodge. Their footsteps were heavy. They moved around. They looked at the furniture. They looked at the walls. They laughed and spoke loudly. They seemed confident. They seemed like they were in control. One of them said, "This place is empty. There is no one here." Another one laughed. "The rider said she would be here," he said. Maybe he lied. The woman's heart stopped. She felt tears in her eyes. She thought, maybe the mountain man lied. Maybe he did not protect me. Maybe I am alone. Then she heard the voice of the rider. It was loud and clear. "She is here," he said. "I know it." The woman's heart began to beat faster again. She held her breath. She listened. She heard the rider's footsteps. He was walking toward the fireplace. He was searching. He was looking for her. The woman felt like she was going to faint. She closed her eyes. She prayed silently. She hoped that the mountain man would return. She hoped that the mountain man would save her. She hoped that the rider would not find her. The rider stopped near the fireplace. He looked around. He spoke to the others. "She is hiding somewhere," he said. "We must find her." The other men laughed. "She cannot hide from us," one of them said. "We will find her." The rider moved closer to the fireplace. He looked at the cracks in the wall. He looked at the stones. He looked at the floor. He searched carefully. The woman could feel his presence. She could feel his eyes. She could feel his breath. She held her breath so hard that her lungs hurt. She waited. She listened. Suddenly, she heard the sound of a door opening outside. She heard the sound of a horse. She heard a voice calling out, "Hello! Is anyone here?" The woman's heart jumped. She recognized the voice. It was the mountain man. The rider turned quickly. "He is here," the rider said. He came back. The men outside became silent. They listened. They heard the mountain man's voice. They heard his footsteps. They knew he was coming closer. The woman felt a sudden rush of hope. She felt like she could breathe again. She felt like she was not alone anymore. She knew the mountain man had returned. She knew he had come to save her. The rider spoke loudly. "We will catch him," he said. "We will catch him and we will take her." The woman felt fear again, but this time it was mixed with courage. She felt like something was changing. She felt like she was not just a victim anymore. She felt like she had someone who cared for her. She felt like she could survive. The mountain man entered the lodge. He stood near the door. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He looked at the rider. He looked at the men. He looked at the woman. He did not speak right away. The rider smiled. He thought the mountain man was afraid. He thought the mountain man would give up. He thought the mountain man would leave. The mountain man spoke calmly. "Leave," he said. The rider laughed. "Or what?" he said. "You are alone. You cannot stop us." The mountain man stepped forward. He did not show fear. He did not raise his voice. He only spoke clearly. "I will not let you take her," he said. "If you want her, you must go through me." The rider's face changed. He did not expect the mountain man to speak like that. He did not expect the mountain man to stand so firm. He looked at the men around him. He saw that they were not sure. They were not confident. They did not want to fight. The mountain man took a step closer. The rider took a step back. The men looked at each other. They did not want to be the first one to act. The mountain man looked at the rider again. He spoke slowly. "I will not harm you," he said, "but I will protect her." The rider hesitated. He looked at the mountain man. He looked at the lodge. He looked at the forest. He knew that he could not win easily. He knew that the mountain man was strong. He knew that the men with him were not brave. The rider finally spoke. "We will leave," he said, "but we will return." The mountain man nodded. He did not argue. He did not chase them. He did not shout. He only watched them leave. He watched them ride away into the forest. The woman came out of her hiding place. She looked at the mountain man. Her eyes were full of tears. She ran to him and hugged him tightly. She felt safe for the first time in a long time. She felt like she could finally breathe. The mountain man hugged her back. He did not say anything. He only held her. He knew that the danger was not over, but he also knew that he had done something important. He had protected her. He had shown her that someone cared. The woman looked at him and whispered, "Thank you." The mountain man nodded. He looked at the forest. He knew that the rider would return. He knew that the woman's past was not finished, but he also knew that he would not stop fighting for her. He would not stop protecting her. And in that moment, something changed inside the woman. She realized that she was not alone. She realized that she had someone who believed in her. She realized that she could trust again. After the rider and his men left, the mountain lodge returned to its quiet life. The birds sang again, and the wind moved through the trees like it always had. The woman felt safe for a moment. She smiled. She laughed softly while cooking. She even sang a little tune while sweeping the floor. The mountain man watched her carefully, and he felt relieved. He was glad that she could feel happiness again, but he also knew that the danger was not gone. He knew the rider would return. He knew that the rider would not give up easily. The mountain man had learned long ago that some people do not stop when they want something. They keep going until they get it. The mountain man decided to prepare. He decided to make the lodge stronger. He repaired the weak parts of the door. He built a new lock. He added a small window with strong bars. He also made a secret path behind the lodge. The path was hidden by bushes and rocks. It was a place where the woman could hide if she needed to. The woman helped him. She carried wood. She helped him dig. She watched him carefully. She felt grateful. She felt safe. She also felt something else. She felt like she was part of a team. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged. The mountain man did not ask the woman about her past. He did not push her to tell him, but he also did not ignore the truth. He wanted to help her heal, but he wanted to do it in a way that made her feel safe. He knew that the past could not be erased, but it could be changed. One evening, while they were sitting near the fire, the woman spoke quietly. "I want to tell you something," she said. The mountain man looked at her. He waited. He did not force her. He only listened. The woman took a deep breath. "I did not run because I wanted to," she said. "I ran because I had no choice." The mountain man nodded. He waited for her to continue. She looked down at her hands. "My family was poor," she said. "We worked hard, but we were always hungry. One day some people came to our village. They said they could help us. They said they could give us work. They said they could make our lives better." The mountain man listened. He did not interrupt. The woman continued. "I believed them. I was young, and I wanted to help my family. So I went with them. I worked for them. I did what they asked. But then I realized it was not what they promised. They lied. They used people. They did not care about anyone. They only cared about money." The woman's voice shook. She looked up at the mountain man. "I tried to leave," she said, "but they would not let me. They said they would punish my family. They said they would hurt them. I was scared. I had to escape." The mountain man's eyes softened. He could feel her pain. He could feel her fear. He could feel her courage. The woman continued. "I ran for many days. I cast at fresh eyes with praise. Hours of birds. I walked through forests. I hid in barns. I slept in the cold. I was alone. I was afraid. But I kept going because I had to. The mountain man did not speak. He only listened. The woman looked at him again. I know you must think I am strange, she said. I know you must think I am weak, but I am not. I am strong. I survived. The mountain man nodded. You are strong, he said. You are brave. The woman's eyes filled with tears. She wiped them quickly. She did not want to cry in front of him, but the mountain man could see her feelings. He could see that she was healing. They sat in silence for a while. The fire crackled. The night was calm. The mountain man thought about what she had said. He thought about the people who had forced her to run. He thought about the rider. He thought about the danger that still existed. Then he spoke. You are safe here, he said. I will protect you. The woman nodded. She felt relief. She felt grateful. She felt like she could finally trust someone. The next day, the mountain man decided to go to the valley. He needed to talk to someone. He needed help. He knew he could not protect the woman alone forever. He needed a plan. He needed someone he could trust. He rode down the mountain and went to the small town at the base of the valley. The town was busy. People were selling goods. Children were playing. The mountain man walked through the streets, but he kept his eyes low. He did not want to draw attention. He went to the small sheriff's office. The sheriff was a calm man, and he was known for being fair. The mountain man had met him once before, and he knew he could trust him. He knocked on the door. The sheriff opened the door and looked at the mountain man. What brings you here? He asked. The mountain man explained. He told the sheriff about the woman. He told him about the rider and the men. He told him that the woman was hiding in the mountains and that she was in danger. The sheriff listened carefully. He did not interrupt. He did not judge. When the mountain man finished, the sheriff sighed. This is serious, he said. If someone is searching for her, they will not stop. We must act. The mountain man nodded. I want to protect her, he said, but I need help. The sheriff thought for a moment. Then he spoke. We can offer her protection, he said, but she must trust us. She must tell us the truth. The mountain man looked down. He knew that the woman was not ready to tell her whole story. He knew that she was still afraid. He also knew that the sheriff was right. If she wanted real safety, she needed help from people who had power. The mountain man left the sheriff's office and returned to the lodge. He felt worried. He felt torn. He wanted to protect the woman, but he did not want to force her to face her fear. When he arrived, the woman was waiting outside. She looked worried. She looked tired. She looked like she had been thinking. The mountain man approached her carefully. He did not want to scare her. He wanted to be gentle. I spoke to the sheriff, he said. The woman's eyes widened. She looked afraid. What did he say? She asked. The mountain man took a deep breath. He wants to help, he said, but he needs the truth. The woman's face changed. She looked like she was about to cry. She looked like she was about to run. She looked like she was going to disappear. The mountain man reached out and took her hand. He held it gently. You do not have to tell him everything, he said. But you must trust someone. You cannot stay alone forever. The woman looked at him. She felt the weight of his words. She felt the truth in them. She knew he was right. She knew that if she wanted to be free, she needed help. She took a deep breath. I will try, she said. The mountain man nodded. He felt a small hope. He felt like things were changing. He felt like the woman was ready to face her past. That night, the woman slept peacefully for the first time in a long time. She dreamed of a life without fear. She dreamed of a life where she could walk in the village without hiding. She dreamed of a life where she could speak her name out loud without being afraid. The mountain man watched her sleep. He felt a strong sense of responsibility. He knew that he had started something important. He knew that he had given her a chance. He knew that the next steps would be difficult. He also knew that the woman was not alone anymore. She had him. She had the mountains. She had hope. And for the first time, the mountain man felt like his quiet life had meaning. The days after the woman's promise felt different. The air seemed lighter. The mountain lodge felt warmer. The woman smiled more often. She spoke more. She laughed sometimes, and the sound of her laughter felt like a gentle wind in the quiet lodge. The mountain man felt proud. He felt happy. He felt like he had done something meaningful. But he also knew that the danger was not gone. He knew the rider could still return. He knew that the people who wanted the woman might still be looking. He knew that the mountain man could not protect her forever alone. He had already asked for help from the sheriff, but he was not sure if the woman was ready to meet the sheriff yet. One morning, the mountain man decided to go to the valley again. He needed to talk to the sheriff about a plan. He wanted to make sure the woman would be safe if the rider returned. He wanted to make sure she could live a normal life someday. He wanted to make sure the danger would not follow her forever. Before he left, the woman spoke to him. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were serious. "I am ready," she said. The mountain man looked at her, surprised. "Ready for what?" he asked. The woman took a deep breath. "I want to go to the sheriff," she said. "I want to tell him the truth. I want to be free." The mountain man felt a sudden warmth in his heart. He felt proud of her. He felt like she had finally found strength inside herself. He nodded. "Okay," he said. "We will go together." They rode down the mountain together. The woman felt nervous. She felt afraid. But she also felt strong. She felt like she was not running anymore. She felt like she was facing her past, and she was ready to move forward. When they reached the town, the mountain man led her to the sheriff's office. The sheriff was waiting. He looked calm and serious. He had a kind face, but his eyes were sharp. He had already heard the mountain man's story, but he had not heard the woman's side. The sheriff welcomed them inside. He offered them water. He sat down and looked at the woman. "You are safe here," he said. "You can speak freely." The woman took a deep breath. She looked at the sheriff and began to speak. She told him about her family, about the people who promised work, and about the danger that followed her. She told him about the rider and his men. She told him how she escaped and how she hid in the mountains. The sheriff listened carefully. He did not interrupt. He did not judge. He only listened. When she finished, he sat quietly for a moment. Then he spoke. "You have been through a lot," he said. "You are brave for coming here. You did the right thing." The woman felt a wave of relief. She felt like a heavy burden had been lifted from her shoulders. She looked at the mountain man. She saw his face. He looked calm. He looked proud. She felt thankful. The sheriff stood up. He walked to his desk and opened a drawer. He took out a paper and wrote something on it. Then he gave it to the woman. "This is a safe pass," he said. "You can live in the town. You can work. You can be protected." The woman looked at the paper. She could not believe it. She felt tears in her eyes. She looked at the mountain man and whispered, "Thank you." The mountain man smiled. He felt happy. He felt like he had helped someone start a new life. The sheriff continued, "We will also send a message to the people who are looking for you," he said. "We will make it clear that you are under protection. If anyone tries to harm you, they will face the law." The woman felt a sense of hope. She felt like her life was finally changing. She felt like she could finally live without fear. After the meeting, the mountain man and the woman returned to the lodge. The woman looked at the mountains. She looked at the trees. She looked at the lodge. She felt grateful. She felt like she had found a new home. She started working in the town. She helped at a small shop. She met new people. She made friends. She laughed. She lived. The mountain man continued his life in the lodge. He visited the town sometimes, but he mostly stayed in the mountains. He liked the quiet. He liked the peace. But he also knew that his life had changed. He was no longer just a lonely man living alone. He was someone who had helped a person in need. He was someone who had made a difference. One evening, the woman came to the lodge. She brought food and a small gift. She smiled at the mountain man. "I wanted to thank you," she said. The mountain man looked at her. He smiled. "You do not need to thank me," he said. The woman shook her head. "I do," she said. "You gave me hope. You gave me safety. You gave me a life." The mountain man nodded. He felt a warm feeling in his chest. He looked at her and said, "You gave yourself a new life." The woman looked at him. She smiled. "I did," she said, "but you helped me find it." The mountain man looked at the sky. The sun was setting. The mountains looked beautiful in the orange light. The woman sat beside him near the fire. They spoke quietly. They shared stories. They laughed softly. They felt calm. The woman knew that she would never forget the mountain man. She knew that she would always be grateful. She knew that she would always remember the promise he made. The mountain man also knew that he would never forget her. He knew that he had learned something important from her. He learned that kindness can change a life. He learned that courage can come from the most unexpected places. He learned that even a quiet man can make a big difference. Time passed, and the woman's life became normal. She worked. She saved money. She built friendships. She learned to trust people again. She no longer lived in fear. She no longer hid her past. She faced it. The mountain man continued to live in his lodge. He continued to enjoy the quiet. He continued to help people when he could. He still lived alone, but he was not lonely anymore. He had a friend. He had a connection. He had a purpose. One day, the woman returned to the lodge with a small basket of flowers. She looked happy. She looked peaceful. She looked like someone who had finally found peace. She gave the basket to the mountain man. "These are for you," she said. The mountain man looked at the flowers. He smiled. "Thank you," he said. The woman sat down beside him. She looked at the mountains. She looked at the sky. She felt grateful. She felt free. And in that quiet moment, the mountain man realized that the world could be a better place. He realized that people could change. He realized that even the smallest act of kindness could create a big difference in someone's life. The mountain man and the woman sat together, watching the sun disappear behind the mountains. They did not need words. They only needed the quiet, the peace, and the understanding that they had found something real. The world was still the same outside the mountains, but for them, everything had changed.